In the world of baseball, July 4th is not just a day for celebration, it is a reminder of one of the most iconic speeches ever given. On July 4th, 1939, exactly 75 years this Friday, in front of a crowd of 61,000 people, Lou Gehrig announced his retirement in one of the most famous speeches in American history. Here to recount the events of that day is WSJ contributor Jonathan Eig, and he's author of The Luckiest Man, The Life and Death of Lou Gehrig. John, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So, why was this speech so important to everybody?
Well, for one thing, Gehrig was the greatest first baseman to ever play the game. He was a beloved man in New York. He'd been with the Yankees for more than 12, 13 years, and this came as a shock to people that he would no longer be playing. He was only 35 years old. And also, you have to remember that people at the time didn't talk publicly about their illnesses, so this was very unusual for a man to stand up in front of a crowd and to acknowledge the fact that he was dying and to say that he was proud of the life he'd lived. It was a really transforming moment for people to see Gehrig in this new way, to see this new kind of strength that he had.
Now, and that speech, we don't know exactly what was said because pieces of it have been missing. That was part of what you discovered, right, when you went to look into the history of this.
Yeah, for more than a decade now, I've been searching and hoping to find a complete version of that speech, either on film or, an audio transcript somewhere. But the best we have is these 4 sentences that have survived on film, and these 4 sentences are all we've got. I've been able to patch much of the speech together by looking at newspaper accounts and trying to figure out what came in between those 4 sentences that we know. But it's a frustrating assignment. It's frustrating to me that we still have never heard these words in their entirety because they were so moving and they did change so many people's view of Gehrig.
They certainly did, and they certainly opens one's eyes to what he was going through. The disease was called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, and the name now is Lou Gehrig's disease, but he made it famous. Was it evident to the fans that he was struggling throughout the season with this disease?
Well, the season before, 1938, he had been off his game a little bit, and he'd played with symptoms of ALS. We can see them now. But he still managed to hit .295 and 29 home runs, 114 RBIs. With symptoms of ALS, that's incredible. I consider it the greatest season in baseball history for any batter, to be playing with a disease that melts your muscles away. It's the opposite of steroids, really. And he did that. But by 1939, the beginning of the season, everybody could see something was wrong with him. The reporters were all shocked to see how much his body had melted away. And it was only then a month after the start of the season that he was finally diagnosed. Even then, a lot of the fans didn't really understand that he was dying. They thought this was perhaps a disease like polio, that he would survive, that he might be crippled. But it only became apparent to them gradually that he would not survive. Gehrig knew that this was a fatal disease, though.
Okay, well, an inspiration to us all. Thank you very much, Jonathan Eig, the author of The Luckiest Man, The Life and Death of Lou Gehrig. We appreciate your time, sir.